Blackstar Artisan 30. This chassis is from a 2x12 combo, and this amp's come in with the standby switch has fallen apart. But one of the problems with this amp as well is, look at the main switch, and the reason for that is just this crappy spring washer that's obviously ineffective. So we need to do something with that as well, because that just isn't safe. The main filter capacitors, incidentally, that one's been changed, so that's had the modification, which is where they put the 100 microfarad in there with the EZ81, which is a no-no, because you're only supposed to have it up to 50 microfarad on an EZ81. So most people who've worked on these amps will know that problem. And one of the things they just did was swap those two round, but this one's been done properly, and someone's just took it out and put 47 in. So that's good. So yes, we need to secure that. So the best thing for doing that is these. These are star washers, and these are a much better set out. So we need to sort that out and then put a new switch in there. But I thought while we got the top off of this, so to speak, we'd just have a bit of a look inside, because we've seen the 15 watts but not the 30 watt. And you can see that these amps are a masterpiece. They really are. Beautifully crowned turrets. They really are superb amplifiers. And these are loud, these 30 watts, incredibly loud. Let's just have a look at the transformers. Sorry, my mistake as well with the rectifier tube. It's the 15 that's got the EZ81 in. This has got the GZ34, GZ34 if you're from the States. Transformers all close together. Look at the size of the output transformer. This is a 30 watt amp. That is huge. So these amps are beasts. Gigantic power transformer as well. I mean, you'd see those on easily on a 50 watt, even maybe a 100 watt head. Well, some of the 100 watt Marshalls and the modern ones nowadays, they're not as big as that. Choke there, you can see. Now this has been retubed at some time, because it's got tube amp doctor tubes in there, and it's also, if we just look at the preamp tubes, so that it'll be the, is that the EF86 there? These are, one of the channels has an EF86 in it. That's a Russian equivalent of an EF86. Which is, I'm just looking at that, yeah. So that's a Soviet EF86 equivalent. Should be quite a nice tube. And here someone has put a Mullard ECC83 in that stage. Nothing wrong with that, is there? That's a touch of quality gone in there. So someone's been very selective with the tubes they've put in this and made a good choice. So look what that one is. That's probably not such a good choice, but it's still okay tube. And the other one just looks like a soft tech. But yeah, quad tube amp doctors in there for the output tubes. Right, I've got the switch in and it's up and running. And I'm just monitoring the HT voltage. That's the ground. This amp's cathode biased. There's the cathode resistor there, that big beefy chap, and there's the bypass capacitor 470. So if you're ever looking for that in one of these amps, that's the cathode resistor. So I'm going to check the bias on this amp. So first thing we need to do is get a reading across that resistor. 11.7. So we need to write that down. The next thing we need to do is measure from plate to cathode, and I'm going to get the other meter. Right, here's that very large calculator again. Keeps appearing. Switch that light off a bit there because it's making it flicker. This is the big calculator with the famous sports shop logo, which we've covered up, and other sports shops logos are available. So we've got the figures there that I've scribbled down. So we've got 11.7 volts drop across the cathode resistor. We've got 331.5 plate cathode, and the resistor measures 70 ohms. So just tilt the calculator up a bit. You can see it. So 11.7 divided by 70 equals 167 milliamps, but don't panic because there's 4 tubes in this, so we'll divide that by 4. But that is 41.7 milliamps. So I'm going to take 5% away for the screens. That leaves 39.6. And now we'll times that by 331.5. And this is biased at 13.15. So a little bit over there, but not just a watt over. That's to be expected on the Blackstar. And the 15s, we've seen those incredibly high. The last one I think was 17 watts, and we're still managing to run okay. Now I seem to remember in the back of my mind that, and I could be wrong on this, but that resistor, one of the mods that was done on this, that was replaced with an 82R, and I'm going to have to go and check on that. Right, so a quick check of the schematic shows that as 68R or 82R, and 82R obviously is going to give us 12 watts, I would think, or around about 12.5 watts, something like that. But I think I'm going to leave that in. 13 watts, it's a little bit high, but ooh, that capacitor there looks a bit baked. Might have to look at that in a bit more detail. I think that's 470 picofarad. Looks like it's over the plate resistors of the phase inverter. I could be wrong though, not sure about that one, but I think that's what that is. It's the capacitor to prevent oscillation. That doesn't look in very good order. You can just see him there. I don't know whether he's okay or not. He looks a little bit baked, not baked, but a bit flabbergasted. Let's have a look at that. Might be okay. Might just be the way it looks. It's just so I'll just have a quick look at that and make sure that's okay. But other than that, everything in here looks really good. As I've said, these are top quality amplifiers. You know, you can see, you only have to look at it. It's the layout of them is spot on. So all that remains now is to button this back up. Just a quick check over a few of the nuts and bolts, make sure there's nothing come loose, like the switches, and then we can put this back in its chassis, in its case, sorry, and I think we'll have a bit of a listen. So just checking these screws, and you can just about see that one inside there. You see that's loose as well, so we'll just nip those up. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, loose. And this is what happens sometimes when with these amplifiers, when you're actually, you know, gigging these amps a lot. In fact, let's just, and there is a lock washer on there. Just checking, see if there's a lock washer. You can see that lock washer. I've got the door open and it's mad hour. You can hear all the cars going by. You can't see anything with my hand there, can you? You see the lock washer there. So they do have lock washers on there. And that's that. try this one. Yeah, loose. Loose again. So all of these appear to be loose. Just nip them up. Just go across there with the camera so you can see. That one's very loose. So is that one. Look at that one. Well, it wouldn't be long before those were rattling around inside, would it? And that one is already a quarter of the way out. Look at that one. I still think the star washers are the better option for these. Right, so, well, that's tightened those up. Let's see what else is loose. Well, there's a ground down there, which you can't see, but if I just gently tilt that over, you see that ground there on the chassis. We'll check that and see if that's loose. Just get a socket for that. So I've got this upside down. There's that ground there, and you can see that's loose. Let's try these transformers. Look at those are loose. Look at that. That's finger tight, even finger tight. One at the back you can't see is loose. They're all loose, aren't they? Let's just have a look at this one. So just about every nut and bolt on this amplifier is loose. Everything. The only one I've not checked is the actual main ground, but no doubt that'll be loose as well. So we've got to go through this amp, tighten up all the nuts and bolts in it, because if we don't, we're liable to getting one of these transformers loose, and if that ground gets loose, well, we'll have all sorts of problems. So here we go. So to get to those nuts, I've got to take the board out. I can't leave them because they're loose. It's just no way. You just leave those and they're just going to work the way loose. We can just see, the camera's just about stretched at its limit, but we just tip it. You can see, well, you can see them there, and there. So we're going to have to get in at those. And to be fair, they've got Loctite on the nuts. In fact, those are lock nuts. They actually are lock nuts, proper lock nuts. But they've still, they've still come loose. So it's not been a big job to get the board out, really. Just get the screws out. I think while I've got these washer there, just get that out. I think while I've got these off, I'm going to put some star washers on this board. Let's do it right. Right, so we can get to those. Now, somewhere in this corner is the main ground for and that is there. That's it. That's one we do need to check as well. You see that one there. So that's the main ground to the AC outlet there. Right, it just gets better. So the ground screws for the main ground for the AC outlet is here, and I've had to take off the tube cover which is, we're dismantling this amp. It only came in to have a standby switch put on it, and look at that. I mean, that's just crazy. That ground, that one. And I did try to tighten that from the other side. It's a bit tighter, but it's not correct. You need to have a screwdriver in one side and a socket in the other. So yes, actually one of those is threaded into the chassis, I think. Just looking. Yeah, I think one is. Right, we'll tighten those up and then we'll put it all back together. So that's all those tightened up, and again we just gently turn that with the pliers. You can see, look, that's loose and that's loose. Everything's loose. This is a loose amplifier. So got everything tightened up. The only things that really were tight were the tube sockets. They were okay. Just got to put this board back, and I'm going to put some star washers on these because I don't like those. Where's the ones that they got on there, which is this type. So we're going to swap those and put this board back in, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be finished. Well, that's everything tightened up, and I've had the knobs off and checked the pots as well. I took about 4 or 5 off, and they're all tight, every one of them. They're no problem. So it's just generally the screws on the transformers, and the sockets there, few screws on the back, but we're all put together finally. We've got our new standby switch in there, and we've got those heavy duty star washers on the back of that, and the power switch as well. Yes, all good now, so we'll have a listen. So here you can see it's all put back together. You can see it in its cabinet now. Beautiful piece of kit. Right, let's have a listen. Right, so we've got this amp ready for it to have a listen. And we've got this on the volume and tone channel with the bass shape. I think this is the EF86 channel, I think. I'll have to check that on the schematic, you know, but I think it is. I think the neck wants adjusting on his guitar. I think it's gone a little bit convex, so I'll have to give it a tweak. Let's go into the other channel. There we go. It's a very bright and jangly amplifier, this. Into the wall. It's incredibly loud. This amp is as loud as a 50-watt Marshall, I swear it is. It is monstrous. So I've got the gain full up there. I've got a bit of overdrive. So I had the head version of this many years ago, and I don't remember getting a lot of gain out of it. Dog approves of it anyway. Come out, Shaft, that's a good boy. So the guy that owns this, he's got dogs as well, so I think he's picked a bit of scent up from the grill cloth. Come on, mate, good boy. No, it's no good doing. I can't play guitar when you're licking my hand. So we've got a bit of gain on there as well. We turn that gain full up. At the minute. So there we are, that's the Blackstar Artisan 30, which just again came in for the standby switch to be fitted, but we found other problems with it, mainly just loose nuts and bolts and things, and again star washers that weren't on these switches, but that's all good to go. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in another video. Bye bye for now. It sounds very much to me like that's getting ready for a recap, and I think the dog agrees.